Welcome back. My name is Dino. This video is what is the rule of thirds. I'm just going to introduce the concept of rule of thirds. Start with the good old definition. It's the process of dividing an image into thirds using two horizontal and two vertical lines and placing the subject of your photo at the intersection of those lines. I'm going to show you in a later video how that looks. From this, it helps creators place subjects on a larger image. Like sometimes you can find, if you have a subject that you want to show on a photograph or a visualization that you don't know where to put it, the rule of thirds helps you do that. What's the rationale for using the rule of thirds? You want to use composition techniques that are in line with what's naturally pleasing to the eye. And again, when you divide an image into these thirds, where you look as according to the rule of thirds is more pleasing to the eye than if you put in a subject in a random space. It helps you creatively use negative space. So when you have your subject versus the background, and you have all of the space potentially around them, it helps you use this in a way that's creative and it can be intriguing and visually pleasing. It also creates a conversation between the subject and the background. So depending on where you put the subject and what type of background you have, it can, again, make a conversation, a dialogue between those things. From this, in terms of an overall rationale, the rule of thirds helps people compose images in a pleasing and creative way. What are some considerations that you should have when you incorporate the rule of thirds? Most of the critical elements, like the subject that you're focusing on, fall on the lines or where the lines intersect. So when you see the rule of thirds, when you see an image divided into thirds, that will help you figure out where to put these critical elements. And something that's just generally done in photography, the horizon, if you're going to have an image of a landscape, for example, the horizon in the rule of thirds and grid is just on the top horizontal line. So that again makes it more pleasing. Why might you violate or defy these rules? There's a couple of different reasons. You might want to center the subject. You might want to lean into the symmetry by putting your subject in the middle of your frame. And that can just, again, make something that's very interesting for the viewer to see. You can lean into discomfort. For those of you who might have seen the TV show Mr. Robot, there's a lot of odd framing of images. They're very counterintuitive to what the rule of thirds are, and I think it helps to create some tension and some awkwardness in that show. If your subject is just slightly off center or pushed all the way to the side, it can create an uneasy feeling in the viewer because it just seems not natural, and it makes the typical viewer who's used to the rule of thirds feel that these norms are violated. It makes them feel not comfortable. And also you can establish patterns. If you aren't using the rule of thirds, maybe you can create repetition to maintain a visually appealing aesthetic, and this is normally done when you center a subject over and over again. From this, these violations of the rule of thirds help to serve interesting visual purposes. And in summary, for the rule of thirds, this helps. This is basically overall. So it's when you divide images into horizontal and vertical thirds. This division creates visually appealing images. It helps to place contrasts. Helps the placement of your image of your subject. It helps to contrast for the foreground and background. And you might want to violate or defy these rules for various creative purposes. And some of the rule of thirds guides subject placement to maximize aesthetic and communicative purposes. That was what are the rule of thirds. My name is Dino. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to like this video. Please feel free to comment on the definition, rationale, any of the considerations, the violations. And finally, if you like this type of video, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. As always, thanks for watching.